All right, we're near the end here. We're talking division. And before we get into some strategies and tips, which will be our final video next week, I wanted to talk about simplifying division just kind of as a concept. And there's two big pieces here. And I was determined this is going to be a short video, so I'm going to just jump right into it. One of the pieces is pause for a second. I understand, like, I love the divide, multiply, subtract, bring down the little bar, and we write a number here, and then we fill out the numbers, and yeah, get our answer up at the top. Hooray. Love that thing. And we are going to crush that for these last few weeks of school. But it doesn't suit our needs for everything. And so I want to talk about, like, how could we make a problem more accessible to that kind of division? How do we make it make more sense for when that style of the traditional algorithm, which is what it's called, which is amazing, but it's not the answer to everything. So two things leapt out of me. One, and I've hinted at this a few times over the year, but one is, let's say I've got 3,287. I just made up these numbers, so this is not going to divide evenly. But if I'm dividing that by 3, like, cool, the traditional algorithm will pan out and pay out for me. I know that it's not going to divide in there evenly, but I could follow the steps and I get a remainder or a decimal, however you choose to do it. The problem is that what happens when it's 23, or what happens when it's 423? This process would be painful. So we need a new plan for that. We need a simpler strategy for that. All right, and the second one that I want to talk about is something that we're probably aware of, but I want to talk about how we could use it more formally as a tool. And that is, let's say I have a problem that's like 360. What's really going on there when I'm dividing by 60? I don't think it's a surprise to anyone that the answer is 6, but how could we take that piece and leverage it in different ways of, like, hey, if I'm thinking about what's going on here and here together, how can I make this problem simpler? All right, cool. Let's talk about the first one first. So the first one, again, is just rethinking what we know about division and this idea of taking chunks out of something, like grabbing groups and being like, all right, this is my one group. So an example problem might be 294 divided by 2 would be easy, but let's say we got 42. First thing that I'm going to ask us is, if I cross off the 2 and the 4, how many times would 4 go into 29? I don't know, about 7 times. If my answer isn't close to 7 or 8, I know I've done something wrong, right? So estimating is still important, and I can't estimate 42 into 294, but I can estimate 40 into 290, and I can see that it might fit 8 times. Okay, cool. So here's what we can do. My X's are just going to have to live there. Here's what we can do is stop for a second and say, all right, I can grab chunks of 294, or I could even just think about kind of our ratio table version. Oh, I'm going to draw a ratio table. And if I know that one group is 42, and I know that 2 groups is going to be 84, I know what 10 groups is going to be 420. Too big, but it tells me what 5 groups is. I feel like that's pretty close. That's a good winner. 5 groups is 210. I got 84 left, right? So 5 groups would be 210. 84 is left. I see this 84. I'm going to do it in a different color. That's 2 more groups. I got nothing left. I pulled out 5 groups of 42. That was 210 pieces. Let's say they're Skittles. And all I got to do is say what's left and how many groups of 42 can I pull out of there. Well, I had 84 left. Well, that's 2 more groups of 42 Skittles, and I got none left. That could be a remainder in this instance to divide it evenly. If I pulled out 5 and then I pulled out 2, 5 plus 2 is 7. What do you know? That's really close to my estimate. I'm trying to get that estimating piece in there every single time. Again, could the standard algorithm work here? Yeah. It would involve me dividing 42 into really large numbers in a way that I can do with 2 or 4. but might be more challenging with 42. So this partial quotient is a way that we can break the problem down. Just start grabbing pieces and subtracting them out. All right, and the second problem, I'm going to borrow the same thing, which is 360 divided by 60. And what we see and identify and are like, oh, I get it. We get rid of the 0, just get rid of it. But again, what we're really doing is dividing by 10. Divide 60 by 10. And that's kind of an unusual thing about division, is that as long as we're consistent about these two pieces, the dividend and the divisor, we're going to get the same answer, right? I divided the inside by 10, I divided the outside by 10, and now I've got 36 divided by 6. My answer was 6. It's true for 36 divided by 6. It's true for 360 divided by 60. Why? It's because they're fractions. Fractions and division are the same idea. And so the rules that we have for them also the same. If I wrote that up on the board and I did my bingo game, I know I could simplify that down. I could continue to simplify it down. I could keep simplifying it down, except I ran out of page. I would get 6 over 1, which is 6. And so, my point being, we could do this piece where we're just crossing off zeros, where we're dividing by 10. You can do that to any division problem. And I won't say that I do this a ton, but it has its place. And actually, I divide by 10 a lot. That's kind of a given, and I hope that you see and do that, like, get rid of those zeros, gone. Another way that's really nice is actually dividing by 2. What do I mean by that? Well, same thing. I'm looking at a problem. No, wrong marker. I'm looking at a problem, and I got 128, and I'm dividing it by 32. Again, I could use the previous strategy, start grabbing chunks of 32. But in this instance, I see that they're both even, and I'm actually going to write it as a fraction. You don't have to write it as a fraction, but it really helps me to orient my thinking around fraction style. At which point, again, equivalent fraction bingo style, I see it written there, and I'm like, what do they have in common? They have a lot of things in common. The first one that I see is 2. So I'm going to divide them both by 2. 128 divided by 2, 12 divided by 2 is 6, 8 is 4. 32 divided by 2 is 16. I can continue this. I can keep doing, and that won't be the case in all problems. Not all problems will simplify down to a very neat answer. But in this instance, since I see it, I'm going to pursue it, see what I get. I can divide by anything. 2 happens to be what I like dividing by, but I see that these are both divisible by 4. 32 divided by 4 is 8. 8 divided by 4 is 2. I actually know what 8 divided by 2 is at this point. I don't need to toy around with the fractions to understand that my answer is 4. And again, because I've been so consistent about doing the same thing top and bottom, I don't get to divide by whatever I want. It has to be the same top and bottom. This 4, which is 8 divided by 2, is the same as 128 divided by 32. The answer really is 4. Even if it just got me this far, and I say, oh, 64 divided by 16. 16 is maybe something that I would use the standard algorithm with. You don't have to divide it all the way down, but anything that makes the numbers somewhat more manageable to work with is a win. So even if you were just like, well, I can see the problem is going to be like this. Cool. That's more manageable to do. It is simpler. It is the nature of simplifying, is that if you're following the rules, you end up with a simpler problem. That will yield the same answer, which is a really cool tool we should use.